There's a specific hour inside your fast that every fasting guru celebrates as your fat-burning peak. And ironically, it's the exact moment your body quietly starts doing the opposite. The cruel part is, the longer you push past this hour thinking you're winning, the harder your body fights to protect the fat you're trying to lose. I got this wrong for almost a year, long fasts, real discipline, and my body working against me the entire time on a biological timer I didn't know existed. Once you understand what actually flips at this hour, and why it's different depending on your age, stress levels, and what you ate the night before, you'll never look at your fasting window the same way again. Real quick before we get into it, always check with your doctor before making significant changes to your fasting routine, especially if you have any underlying health conditions. What I share here is educational, based on research and real experience, not personalized medical advice. Now let's get into it. Let me ask you something. How many guys do you think are out there right now, fasting every single day, hitting their windows perfectly, being disciplined as hell, and still can't get rid of their belly? Not because they're lazy, not because they're cheating, just stuck. Honestly, most of them. And I've seen it over and over. Guys who come to me doing 18, 20-hour fasts, proud of their discipline, wondering why the belly is still there. And the answer is almost never fast longer. That's exactly the wrong direction. Here's what nobody in the fasting space wants to say out loud. There's a specific hour inside your fast where the game changes. Before that hour, your body is doing exactly what you want, digging into fat stores, running clean, burning stubborn tissue for fuel. After that hour, your body quietly flips into protection mode. And the fat you're trying to lose becomes the fat your body is now working hardest to keep. The brutal part is you can't feel it happening. You think you're grinding through and winning. You're not. You're fasting past your own results. Let's figure out exactly where that hour is, and why it's different for every man depending on his age, stress, and what he ate the night before. Look, most guys think of fasting like a light switch. You're either eating or you're fasting. On or off. Simple. But that's not how your body experiences it at all. Your body goes through stages, almost like gears in a car. And each gear has a completely different hormonal environment, a different fuel priority, and a completely different relationship with your stubborn belly fat. Here's where most people get stuck. They only ever think about the destination, not the road getting there. The first 6 hours or so, cleanup mode. Your body is still processing whatever you ate last. Insulin is dropping. Your liver is burning through its glycogen stores. Think of glycogen as the quick access fuel your body keeps on the shelf before it has to go down to the basement for the real stuff. You're not dramatically burning fat yet, you're just clearing the runway. Then, somewhere around hour 8 to 10, something shifts. Insulin drops low enough. The shelf is cleared, and your body finally unlocks the basement, stored fat. This is where the magic people talk about actually starts happening. Your body is tapping stubborn fat for fuel. Ketones are rising. Your brain gets sharper. That persistent low-grade hunger from the early hours starts quieting down. You feel dialed in. You are dialed in. For a while. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part I wish someone had explained to me before I wasted a year doing this wrong. Past hour 12, 13, sometimes 14, your body starts running a quiet calculation in the background. It's basically asking, how long has this been going on? How much is left in reserve? Is this a temporary situation or a real threat? And when that calculation crosses a certain threshold, when your body decides the fast has gone long enough that resources might genuinely be running low, it doesn't just keep burning fat like you want it to, it starts hedging its bets, playing defense. Cortisol creeps back up. Not a dramatic spike, just a slow, quiet elevation. Your body's version of a whisper. Hey, let's be careful here. Now, I've talked about cortisol before, and guys always ask me, Kung, why does cortisol keep showing up in everything? Because cortisol is basically your body's crisis manager. Anytime your body senses a prolonged threat, physical, emotional, or metabolic, cortisol shows up to protect the reserves, and the reserve it protects hardest, visceral fat, the deep belly fat wrapped around your organs. Think of visceral fat like the money in a safe versus the cash in your wallet. When things are normal, your body spends the wallet money first, easier fat stores, subcutaneous fat. But when cortisol whispers, we might be in trouble, that safe gets locked down hard. Your body starts looking for other fuel sources instead. And one of the first places it turns, muscle tissue. So you're still fasting, insulin is still low, on paper everything looks right, but underneath, you're no longer primarily burning fat. You're in a mixed state where your body is protecting stubborn fat and breaking down muscle to fill the gap. That's the flip. And most men are fasting straight through it every single day without realizing it. Now here's the part that makes this genuinely complicated, and honestly, the part that exposes why generic fasting advice fails so many guys. That flip doesn't happen at the same hour for everyone, not even close. The guys I've worked with who are in their mid-20s, lower stress, sleeping well, decent testosterone, they can push to hour 15, 16, sometimes even 18 before the flip kicks in hard. The fat-burning window is wide open for them. But a guy in his late 30s or 40s, lower testosterone, higher baseline cortisol, more accumulated life stress, his flip can happen at hour 12 or 13, sometimes earlier. Same protocol, completely different biology. And the tragedy is that guy is usually the one pushing hardest to fast longer because he's read that longer is better. 3 things specifically move that window, and if you don't know these, you're essentially fasting blind. First, your age and testosterone levels, as testosterone naturally declines, and for most men this starts in their mid-30s, your hormonal buffer against cortisol gets thinner. Lower testosterone means cortisol has less resistance during extended fasts. Your protective flip point moves earlier. This isn't a death sentence, it just means you need to be smarter about your window, not just longer. Second, your stress going into the fast. Honestly, this one catches guys off guard. If your cortisol was already elevated the day before, bad sleep, work pressure, a hard workout without enough recovery, even an argument with your wife, you're starting your fast from a higher cortisol baseline. The threshold gets crossed faster. I've seen guys who fast perfectly all week and then wonder why Monday is always their worst day. Sunday night stress is hijacking Monday's fast, every time. Third, what you ate before your fast. Specifically, how much processed carbs and sugar you had. A high-carb meal before fasting means your glycogen stores are maxed out, so it takes longer to clear the runway, which pushes back when genuine fat burning starts. But it also means your body has more to protect late in the fast when it starts running the reserve calculation. High-carb night, compressed window from both sides. It's like starting a marathon with weights in your backpack. Here's something I tell every guy I work with. Your body is already giving you the information. You just don't know what you're listening for. The productive fat-burning zone has a feel, mental clarity, stable energy, hunger that's present but manageable. You know food exists, but you're not desperate. A subtle focus and calm that makes the fast feel almost effortless. The flip has a completely different feel, and this is critical. Most guys mistake it for regular hunger and try to white-knuckle through it. It's not hunger, it's different. It's a specific restlessness, a low-grade mental fog that wasn't there an hour ago, irritability that shows up out of nowhere, like you're suddenly annoyed at things that would normally slide right off you, and a craving that isn't about food in general. It's laser-focused on carbohydrates, bread, rice, something quick. Your body isn't asking for fuel because it's mealtime. It's asking for quick fuel because cortisol has taken the wheel. That cocktail, the fog, the irritability, the specific carb craving, that's your personal alarm. Your body telling you the productive window is closing. And the guy who recognizes that signal and breaks his fast there gets better results than the guy who pushes 3 more hours out of sheer stubbornness. Because those extra hours aren't earning more fat burning. They're earning more cortisol and more muscle breakdown. More discipline in the wrong direction is still the wrong direction. Sound familiar? Now, here's where it gets useful, because once you know where your window is, the next question is how to make it wider. And the answer isn't complicated. I've seen it work with enough guys now that I'll stake the Kong reputation on these 2 things. The first lever is your protein intake the day before your fast. When your body enters a fast with solid protein stores, it's less likely to interpret the fast as a threat. Protein availability is one of the primary signals your body uses to assess whether resources are safe. High protein the day before, your body enters the fast with more confidence. The cortisol protection response comes later, or not as strongly. I've seen guys fix a 2-week plateau just by actually hitting their protein in the eating window, not changing anything else. Just protein. The difference is real. The second lever is electrolytes during the fast. Sodium, potassium, magnesium. when your electrolyte balance drops, and it drops faster than most people realize because fasting accelerates excretion, your body reads that as a physiological stress signal. Stress signal means cortisol. Cortisol means the flip comes earlier. A pinch of quality salt in your water isn't breaking the fast. It's removing a cortisol trigger. Guys who add this one thing often tell me their fasts feel easier almost immediately. Now you know exactly why. Look, I put together a complete protocol in the pinned comment below. It's all there, grab it before your next fasting window. And if this is already changing how you see your fast, hit subscribe, because the hormonal side of fasting is exactly where we keep going from here. Let me be straight with you, because this mistake frustrates me every time I see it. There's a culture in fasting communities that treats window length like a trophy. Guys comparing 22-hour fasts like it's a sport. The assumption underneath all of it, longer automatically means better. More suffering, more results. That assumption is flat out wrong. And for a lot of the guys reading this, it's actively making them worse. I had a guy, been fasting 20 hours a day for 4 months. Waist measurement hadn't moved in 6 weeks. He was convinced he just needed more consistency. I told him to cut to 14 hours, fix his protein, add electrolytes. He thought I was crazy. 3 weeks later, he sent me a photo, almost 2 inches off his waist. He didn't need a longer fast, he needed a smarter one. How long is your current fasting window? Because I'm willing to bet a good chunk of you are doing 18-20 hours thinking you're getting ahead, when you might actually be past your flip point. Drop your window length in the comments. The Kong approach has never been about doing the hardest version of something. A clean, well-timed 14-hour fast will destroy a sloppy, cortisol spike 20-hour fast for visceral fat results, every single time. Let me tell you what actually changes, because it shows up in ways you might not expect. The first thing guys notice is that breaking the fast feels different. Break at the right time and you're hungry but controlled. You eat a real meal and you're done. Push past your window into cortisol territory. You break your fast like you haven't eaten in a week. The cravings run the show. You eat more than you planned, feel guilty, and wonder why fasting isn't working. It is working. You're just breaking it at the wrong moment. The second shift is muscle. Because you're no longer breaking down muscle during those extended cortisol hours, you get leaner without that deflated, soft look. Your clothes fit better before the scale even moves. And the third shift, the slowest but most important, is your waist. Visceral fat is the last to go when cortisol is chronically high during fasting. It's the first to start going when you stop triggering the protection response. Guys who make this adjustment see waist measurements drop earlier than they expected, not because they're doing more, but because they stopped doing something that was quietly working against them. Everything I just laid out, the flip point, the protein lever, the electrolytes, how to read your own signals, it's all compiled in the pinned comment as a ready-to-use protocol. No need to rewatch or take notes. Just grab it, apply it to your next window, and start paying attention to what your body is actually telling you. And if you want to keep going deeper on what's really happening hormonally while you fast, subscribe. We're just getting started on this side of the conversation. Starting with your next fast, pay attention. Notice what hour that specific restlessness shows up, the fog, the irritability, that carb craving that doesn't feel like normal hunger. Write it down. That's your body handing you the exact data you need to stop guessing and start getting real results. Your visceral fat isn't stubborn because you're not disciplined enough. It's stubborn because your body is protecting it, and the way most guys fast is actively triggering that protection in the exact hours they think they're making progress. That's not a discipline problem. That's an information problem. Small adjustments, smart timing, consistent execution. You don't need a longer fast. You need the right fast for your body, at your age, with your stress levels, with your history. That's the Kong lifestyle. Gorilla mind. Know the game you're playing. Go focus on the carcass.